Hello friends, how are you? My name is Corbin Reed and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be bringing you 3 DIYs that I've completed in my home that I'm really excited about. I've completed them, yes, in the fall season, but these are 3 great, affordable, budget-friendly ways for you to add coziness and depth to your home. If your home is anything like my home and you have some spaces that maybe are a little bit sterile or need some texture, 3 DIYs I'm doing is, one is adding ceiling molding, a ceiling pendant, ceiling molding to the ceiling in my kitchen around a light fixture. The other DIY is upholstering just a super boring white lampshade with the vintage fabric. And the third DIY is adding wallpaper peel and stick backsplash into a sort of sterile laundry area in my house. And those are 3 really great ways to add texture to your home. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, so this is the kitchen pendant over my sink, and the ceiling still has like the spot from where the contractor patched it up. So I'm just going in with a sander, a piece of sandpaper, and I'm just smoothing it out. Next, I just wanted to paint over the sort of gray plaster that was there. So I'm using a white, just so when I put the ceiling molding, the ceiling pendant around the light fixture, it looks smooth. These are the ceiling pendants, the ceiling molding, and they're kind of come in like a foamy material, but when they're up, you can't tell, it doesn't make a difference. Plus, it's easier to hang them when they're lighter, so I'm glad that they weren't super heavy. And it makes it easier to like the brad nails into it, and it's split, so I don't have to take the light fixture down to get it around it. I can just sort of wiggle it around, and they just kind of reminded me of like something I would see in Europe or Paris or something. And I do dishes here. I look up at the ceiling a lot sitting in the living room, so this just adds some interest to the ceiling. I'm starting out with some liquid nails. I'm just putting a good amount on there on both sides. With a caulk gun. Next, I just bring these 2 pieces up to the ceiling and match them up in a way that looked good to me. I wanted the seams to be horizontal, not vertical, especially because you see the front half more. However, I am going to go in and caulk the seams so it looks smooth. So after those stuck to the ceiling for a little bit, I just went in with my brad nailer and stuck them in place with my brad nailer, because the liquid nails isn't dry and gravity would have pulled this down, but also this just adds some extra security to the pendants. As you can see, there are seams and brad nails holes, so I'm using caulk, and I just went in and caulked the seam, smoothed it out with my finger, and I just repeated this process on the seams, over the holes where the brad nails were on the inside inner diameter of the ceiling pendant, and just anywhere else that looked like it needed to kind of adhere to the wall. I didn't do it on the outer diameter just because it is designed in such a way that it's supposed to look like it's kind of lifted off the ceiling. So I really just did the inner diameter, the brad nail holes, and the seams. dry, I just went in with some white paint and painted over all of the seams, but also just wanted to give it one final smooth look. It did come primed and white, but you know, a fresh coat of paint always helps things to look new, and I wanted it to look like, you know, it had always kind of been there. And this is the finished product. Nice and cozy and interesting and a beautiful thing to look at when you're in the kitchen. My next DIY is for this white lamp that I found at Target. If they still sell this, I'll link it down below. But I just started off by taping off the neck because I'm going to be painting the base, which is just kind of white and plain, with this lime wash just to give it some more depth. This is the color Linen by Bauwerk, and it's just like a grayish, creamy color that I think has a lot of depth and layered over this ceramic sort of, I don't know what you call this, like fluted detailing, ribbed detailing. I thought that it would give it more depth to the base of the lamp. So I just covered this once. It was pretty easy. Made sure I shook up the lime wash pretty good because the sediment all kind of sinks to the bottom, and this is like an old sample from when I was choosing a lime wash color for my office. So yeah, I just did one coat here and then I let it dry. And this is what it looks like, still wet after one coat. Next up, this is a fabric that I found off of Amazon. I will link the name of this dealer down below, but they specialize in like vintage fabrics. This is the lampshade, and I'm going to be covering it in this fabric. So find the seam, and you literally just roll the lampshade along with a marker or pen. I suggest using a pencil because this bled through onto my counter, but you roll it until you reach this the other, like you start on the seam and you end on the seam, so that's how you know it will be long enough to wrap around the lampshade. And you do it both on the top and the bottom. The reason you do this is because when you roll it, it gives it a curve in the proper curve of the lampshade. If you just tried to like measure it, it wouldn't be curved like this. It would just be a straight line, and you want it to be the exact angle. I also added on about 1/2 inch on both sides because I will be wrapping the excess fabric around the bottom and the top of the lampshade, and then I just cut it out. This actually ended up being a template because the magic marker was too dark. So again, do not do what I did. Do not use a magic marker. It will bleed through. Use a pencil or a pen. After it was all cut out, I just wanted to make sure that it was the right size, and it was, and I just sort of wrapped it around the lampshade just to get an idea of what angle I would need to put it on at. Again, this is just ended up being a template because that line was too sharp, but as you can see, it fits perfectly. Next up, I just took this can of Super 77 multi-adhesive spray, and the good thing about this is it's super strong, but it's also it's forgiving, so it gives time to dry. So like, you spray it on about 6 to 10 inches away from the fabric. I would put something down underneath it so it doesn't get on the surface below because it's glue. And then this just took some trial and error, like putting it on and smoothing it out and then pulling it and then taking it off just to get it like lined up. It probably took me about, I don't know, 10 minutes to get it on there properly. But you know, the measurements were right based on the way that I rolled it on the fabric and everything. So this is just me going around and pulling it. That extra 1/2 inch on each side, you can see how valuable that is. And I'm just pulling it to get out all of the bubbles and the wrinkles in the fabric, but it adheres very well. I think I let it dry for like 30 seconds. So it was tacky before I put it on the lampshade, and then just cut off the excess fabric, fold it over to create a nice seam, and then I just sprayed that seam a little bit more with the adhesive spray and laid it down, and then it was adhered to the lamp. So the next step is just to go in and put the edges of those fabric underneath the lip of the lampshade. I'm literally just going around and tucking it and pinning it with my fingers. Once I did that, I went in and cut the excess fabric as much as I could. If you have fabric scissors, you could probably get a more precise cut. I will say, when the lamp is lit up, you can kind of tell that it's not the greatest cutting job. It looks kind of choppy. Like, it's fine during the day, you can't see through it, but once it's lit up from the inside, you can see there's a lot of excess fabric still on the inside. So if you used smaller fabric scissors, I think you would be able to get a more precise cut. Or there are also like, you could do piping on the inside just to make it look smoother, and just like put it in there with some fabric glue. But that's how it looks, and it's nice and clean and pretty and interesting and warm and cozy for fall. So this is what the lamp was looking like after one coat and it's dry. It does kind of come off. I probably should have put a primer on there. I did go in afterwards, after putting a second coat on and letting it dry, and I did spray it with just like a clear matting spray, just so that like the lime wash wasn't falling off of the lamp. But I just went in with one more coat just to give it a little bit more depth. But I think that this fabric that I chose and this lime wash color that I chose looks really, really pretty with the base of this lamp. So that's what it looks like. Still wet, but I love it. It's so beautiful, and it's a great little kitchen lamp. And this is the lamp at night in my kitchen, you guys. Super cozy, beautiful, and I just love the ambiance and the vibe that it gives off. Super cozy, and I'll have it up there year round, honestly. DIY number 3. I am currently in my hallway it's on the second floor, and this is where like the guest bedroom and the main bedroom are, and there's a laundry area and a closet here, but then there's like this open sort of area to fold clothes, and I honestly put like decor in here and stuff, but it's super sterile. I took all the decor out, but I want to add a treatment to the walls. I've already lime washed these walls, which I'm gonna do the reveal kind of all at once. So this is just a DIY to show you how I'm sort of cozying up this space. As you can see, it's super white. And so yeah, I got this wallpaper. It's a part of Kelly Ripa's collaboration with New Wallpaper, which is a pretty popular peel and stick wallpaper brand. They sell this at like Target and stuff. And this is like a creamy, almost like gray, and it has a little bit of texture to it from what I can tell. I actually haven't opened this yet, but it's got some like beige and cream and white on it, and it's supposed to look like tweed. So I thought this would be a really good way to add texture. If I love it, I'm actually gonna end up using it in our master bathroom. I'm going to be doing board and batten in there and then putting a wallpaper on the upper half. So if I love it, I'll use this wallpaper as well. So anyways, let's see how this turns out. I'm just waiting on, I had some holes in the wall, so I had to patch them up. So I'm just waiting on the patching to dry. And in the meantime, I'm gonna prep the wallpaper. So this is the space before I've done anything to it. Super bland, super boring, white. I do have some lights up underneath there, which you'll see later when I do the final reveal, but it just desperately was in need of some texture. While I'm waiting for the plaster to dry in the back wall, I am just gonna start on this side wall over here and work my way around. By the time I get over there, it should be dry. This actually does have a very nice texture to it. I got this kit off of Amazon for wallpaper. It comes with like an X-Acto knife, a smoothing tool. There's like one that's just flat like this, and measuring tape, and like another smoothing tool with like velvet. Excuse me, it was like $3. I'll link it down below. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it a go. And I also have this, which I may or may not need. It's called Easy Hang, also another thing off of Amazon that I'll link down below. And you're supposed to spray it on the wall, and it makes the application of the peel and stick easier. So it just says to spray it directly on the wall for peel and stick wallpaper. And that's it. You shake well before use, and it makes the application easier. So let's see how this goes. So with the peel and stick wallpaper, it really is just trial and error, you guys. Like, I would highly recommend and highly suggest using Easy Hang. Again, I'll have a link down below, but it just makes it easier because the wall is wet, and it also helps to just make the adhesive more, the bond of the peel and stick adhesive stronger. But because it's wet, it just allows you to like reposition the wallpaper over and over again, which I had to do so many times, especially when I was hanging it in like nooks like this. It wasn't just like a wall. I had to like cut around. I had to make sure it was like straight on the sides. So I also highly recommend getting these smoothing tools and not just like using a credit card or something. I like this set from Amazon because it comes with a tool that has a velvet trim on the bottom, and it just makes it easier to smooth in a different way. And also, if you're worried about like ripping the wallpaper, because sometimes depending on the product, this one was pretty thick and really good quality. I'll also link this wallpaper down below, of course, but some of them are not this thick and good quality, so having the velvet sort of trim around it just makes the smoothing process easier and less stressful and less likely for you to rip the wallpaper while you're trying to smooth it. So once I got that first piece up, which had a lot of corners and things, it did make the process easier. I also think it was like a learning curve. The kit also came with this X-Acto knife, which is super sharp, and I just use it to cut the excess wallpaper off around all of the corners. And then the back wall was easier because it's just flat and straight, and there was nothing to sort of like work around. So this process went a lot faster for the back wall. Repeated the process on the right hand side. You're getting a little sneak peek in the background of the hallway. There's a lot of junk up there, but don't look too hard because that is coming in a separate video. But yeah, I repeated this process of sort of cutting around the cupboards and cutting around the counter and smoothing it out and picking it up and putting it back down. But as you can see, I'm like lifting it and putting it back down over and over again. That's very difficult to do if you don't have a wet wall. So the Easy Hang made that possible. I cannot imagine doing this process without a wet wall. So get the Easy Hang. And then there are some pieces here that I had to go in and patch. It's amazing because you actually really can't tell that they're patched once it's on the wall. You really can't tell at all. Ignore the filthy, dirty wall, but I just wanted to show you how I used the edge of the smoother to sort of guide my X-Acto knife. If I was trying to freehand it at first and I was getting a not straight line, but I found that if I used the smoother to guide the X-Acto knife, I got a nice straight cut. Okay, so I'm almost done. This is my last strip right here. I actually think it looks amazing. It looks way better than the white walls. I knew it would. It's a little bit cooler in color than I thought it was gonna be. It's just like, it's got more gray than it has like beige, I guess, which is okay. I'm okay with that. I really like the texture of it, and I will say, get this. If you've never done if you've never done peel and stick wallpaper, get this. It makes it well, first of all, it strengthens the bond, but it makes it easier to reposition the wallpaper, like especially when you're dealing with like nooks and crannies and you're not just like doing like a flat straight wall. This makes it super malleable. So this is my last piece, and then I'm just gonna screw the wall plate back on and style this, and that'll be that. Finished product with the lights on, the spotlights, and the wallpaper. It looks so good. It looks so much more interesting, and it even brings out the lime wash on the opposing walls really nicely. It just complements everything. And now for the styling. Of course, I'm using vintage pieces. This is a Turkish pot that I got from a company here in Los Angeles called Olive Atelier. They import stuff from Turkey. This is a vintage piece I believe I just found at a vintage shop. It's like a dough bowl, a vintage dough bowl. And this is another vintage piece that I got off of Etsy. That they call it like a big boy or something. And then these are two pieces that I thrifted. That's like all the tortoise glass, and I just put like tea candles in there, and I put a basket up there for dry cleaning clothes. And then of course no video would be complete without me lighting some candles in his face I've styled. And then those yellow flowers in the vase are from Amazon. I really like them, and they're pretty affordable, so I will of course link those down below as well. But this is it, you guys. This is the laundry folding area. The only thing I might do is put some contact paper over the white laminate just to make it look more interesting. I ordered some, so stay tuned for that. If it turns out good, I will of course share that with you. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. I love hearing from you guys, even if it's just hi, letting me know how your day is going, or letting me know what you loved about this video or what you're gonna try. Everything that I can and that was mentioned in this video will be linked down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.